I'm Kara.
I'm Scott, and this is a Pivot Quick Take.
I'm Senator Mark Kelly. Hi, Kara and Scott. This is my quick take on AI. I use AI a lot. ChatGPT, I often go there instead of Google. I've been incredibly impressed with the capabilities. Right from the beginning. The last thing I asked ChatGPT was yesterday. I only had 30 minutes to go to the gym, and I asked it to do something that had the bike, the rowing machine, some squats, and bench press. It worked, and I did it. The problem is we face a future where there could be millions of Americans without a job because AI is moving very rapidly, and people will already lose their jobs. Now, the other side of this is every time we found ways to make worker productivity better throughout our history, in time, we've created a bigger economy and more jobs. But this is moving so fast that if we don't have a good plan and put that plan in place, I think in years to come, we will find ourselves regretful that we didn't do things up front to support workers who clearly can be displaced. My solution is a plan called AI for America, which is a plan to eventually come up with legislation to form a public-private partnership to have AI companies and the companies that benefit from this technology, the companies that use AI, partner with the federal government to provide the resources into what we call an AI Horizon Fund to pay for job training and upskilling and retraining people for other careers, but also supports the changes we need in our infrastructure. If we don't provide the needed power and water resources for data centers, communities will reject them. We've already seen this. Where I live in Tucson, Arizona, we've seen an AI data center from Amazon that tried to, start construction inside the Tucson city limits. And when the community realized how much power and water this was going to take, eventually the city council unanimously voted against it. Now, if we had the resources to improve infrastructure ahead of time and come up with new technologies to cool data centers beyond what's available right now that use a lot of water, often through a flash evaporative cooling, we could find ourselves in a position where communities like where I live in Arizona would embrace these data centers because of the construction jobs. And afterwards, that there are also some good paying jobs that come with having this in a community. We've already reached out to tech companies to get their input, and we got some good comments. We are asking them to participate and work with the federal government in a private-public partnership and contribute some of the funds to train workers and to build the infrastructure necessary to support this technology. We can't put this all on the backs of taxpayers, especially in this environment. Right now, it has to be a partnership. And I want this to be a collaborative approach, not only with tech companies, but universities and AI experts and unions and utilities to collaborate on this as we move forward and take this plan through the legislative process and come up with something that I think tech companies could support, because again, it's in their best interest to not develop technology that results in millions of people losing their jobs. Because if it becomes that disruptive to the workforce and to our economy, I think tech companies will find themselves, not as welcome as they otherwise could be. We want this technology to be safe. We don't want it to have negative social impacts, especially on children. So there are ways you can approach that. You can have a red team try to figure out What is the downside of this technology, and how do we put in safeguards to protect kids? We did not do that with social media. We're starting to do it now, but we have gone nearly 2 decades without the necessary safeguards in place for social media. I don't think we want to find ourselves in a similar situation here. And if we're thoughtful about it and we work together to come up with some, solutions on the front end, we can mitigate some of the worst consequences of this technology. Now, again, I think this is a huge win for our country. And I want these companies to be able to innovate without, too much interference. But it's got to be a partnership. Next steps, we're going to continue to meet with industry, with trade associations, with unions, with universities, with utilities, working together with Democrats and Republicans in the House and the Senate to get a bigger effort, and then eventually turning it into legislation and turning it into programs within the Department of Commerce or the Department of Education, Department of Labor. I mean, there's places naturally that we could, put certain programs. I want to make sure that we have a plan today that is thinking about what is it going to be like in our country 10 and 20 and 30 years from now. Because if we're thoughtful about it up front and we have a good plan, I think we're going to get a better outcome. And that's my quick take.